We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
With Jason Bermas.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
I'm hitting buttons. I didn't even realize it. And it's going through. And I'm looking at myself and I'm switching stuff up. And that's the way it is today. John Fitch, Mixed Martial Mindset. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Things are starting to cool off a little bit in San Jose, so that's nice.
Yeah, me too. Finally, right? Like I went to Vegas a couple weeks ago, and it was just as hot here in Iowa as it was in Vegas. And the last couple days, it's felt like it's going to rain. It hasn't. I have a huge tree branch down. Another one. I got a dying tree in the back, guys. Just doesn't want to live. Got to find a new home. Speaking of homes, let's just get right into it, man. This is like dark cartoon level to me. Last year, Adams is just like, bring them all in.
This guy, these people, like. I don't understand the mindset of the people, like the people on the left, because you go back to Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, all those people back 30 years ago, the stuff that they were saying about immigration, they sounded exactly like the conservatives. They sounded exactly the same. Like if you could do an AI speech of Trump reading things that Joe Biden said and Hillary Clinton said and Bill Clinton, all those people said about immigration, and you'd be like, oh, what a piece of crap racist, oh, we should throw him away, he's terrible. It's the same thing. Flip-flopping, mother-grabbing liars.
And even RFK Jr. has now come out and said, look, I'm for the wall. He's like, we got to do something. He goes, I went down there, and this is coming out of a place of empathy and love. He's like, you don't understand. These people are being trafficked. They're being taken advantage of. Crime is on the rise. We don't have the infrastructure. He's saying the truth. And now, like,
it's becoming Gotham. They want America to be Gotham. They want robot dogs. They want complete control, 15-minute cities. They want chaos, blood in the streets. That way they can lock everything down. The financial system's collapsing, guys. Like, you can't keep growing debt at the levels they're growing at. The banks for the last 3 years, they no longer have to have any reserves. 0% reserves, the banks. There's no money in the banks. I get like 3 emails a day from Chase trying to lure me into some new deal. Hey, you're eligible. Hey, look at this new card. Come on, man. Hey, Johnny, we got something free for you. Look at this. Every day, all day. I'm just like, no, bro. Like, no, I don't even keep much cash. I move money. I move crypto into my bank to pay things every month.
I do the same.
I'm not storing money there.
Well, I'll say this. I used to do that when I had more of my income coming in through crypto. But as a store of wealth, I'm not cashing out my crypto as much because I don't have to move it over for bills. And I'm keeping it. And that's more of my bank account, quite frankly. And, I'll be honest, I hedge my bets against the dollar. I have so much in Ethereum. I have so much in Bitcoin.
Didn't like 30 countries just say they're not going to stop using the dollar?
Yeah, they've said they're
I think I saw that headline like today.
Yeah, well, here's the deal, man. China is also in really big economic turmoil, and a lot of people.
It's a global event of financial collapse.
Mm-hmm.
That's why all these countries are scrambling around like they are, because they know that something's going to happen, and then it's going to be chaos. They're not going to. The elites, they're going to have appreciating assets, but if there's no one to buy them and they can't pay anybody to take care of them, how are you going to pay somebody? The dollar's worthless. How are you going to pay somebody to keep your house and your fortune secure? You got a bunch of gold and land, but what's going to stop a bunch of people with guns from coming to your place and taking it?
Well, I think
what are you going to pay them with?
I think that resources. I think first of all, I don't think you can find a total and complete devastation of a full first world economy, right? I think that they're incrementally going to do it. Just think about that, man. Because if you got your first world economy, first of all, you're talking about the 300 plus million people, really closer to 4 in the country.
That's why I think it's such a big thing happening. That's why I think they tried COVID and pushed it so hard. I think that's why they're going to try to push it again. I think that's why they're building up the I have to figure out what they're calling it now, because it keeps changing. It used to be the global cooling. No, it was global warming. Now it's climate change. So then now the climate change, they're going to keep pushing that so they can lock us down. Like they're planning. They know that this cannot continue. I mean, think about how devastating the Great Depression crash was, and that we weren't the head of the global community as far as finances go at that time.
Here's what I'm going to say about that.
What happens if the biggest financial entity collapses?
What
else is going to happen?
If we were in the same economic system, even partially, that we were in 1929, what do I mean by that? It's not a welfare state. So, in other words, it's very visual when people don't have jobs and they're hungry because nobody in the state's giving them anything. That's where the bread lines come from. Now, so many people are used to swipey, EBT, that we don't even see the fact that in actuality, there are more people that need some kind of assistance from the government than there were in the Great Depression. Okay, that's number one.
Oh yeah. That's yeah.
And the other thing,
because back then people still had chickens and pigs and goats and cows and stuff around.
Well, they also were not getting a check from the government every single month. I mean, that's just not. You don't have Social Security set up. It's just not there. Like your savings was your savings. It was literally the rugged individualist.
Put money in your mattress.
You're not wrong. Some people would do that. There's a reason people would go out with the metal detectors back in the day. They'd bury it in the backyard. I remember reading
a story about somebody found a wad of cash under a porch it was like $5,000 worth of cash.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, people would store their. It was just such a different society. There wasn't the idea that I buy a home through a bank and I have a 30-year mortgage. It was more I save my money and I buy the home, or I buy land that I saved my money for, and I buy a
house
kit.
for $3,000 off of Sears.
Dude, even
Sears catalog.
Even in my day, okay, the house that I mainly grew up in when I moved when I was 12 years old, my father's father got at a auction, one of the foreclosure auctions, I think for like $17,000. You can't get a new Kia for $17,000. It's a 5-bedroom house in upstate New York. It wasn't, something it needed fixing up in. And it was a little.
You could probably find a $12,000 house in Detroit.
Maybe. But the point is, we're in a very different situation. And I made this point on my show too, because the other story that I wanted to talk about, other than Adams, 2 different prisons, that's a reference to New York City kind of making itself its own prison. And then what they're doing to the Trump crew in that RICO case, right? I warned everybody. Everybody acted like, oh, Jason, you're always going to prison. No, they're putting people in prison. Right now, they're putting people in prison.
The Proud Boys guy got 22 years. He wasn't even there.
Yeah, Tario got 22. Tario got 22 years for not being there. Zachary Rell, who did walk into the building and put his hand on the fence that came down, he got 15. This is a guy who's a veteran that never had a criminal record. I mean, these people, I made the point there that Tarrio got 22 years. Ghislaine Maxwell got 20. Okay?
How does anybody not like just lose it and understand that, okay, yeah, this is banana republic. We are no longer a democracy. We are no longer a sane place. Like, this is a joke. This is disgusting.
It's worse than a joke, because Navarro now, who's a Trump advisor and an attorney, okay, realizes
next step is they're going to start sending hit squads out to kill people.
I don't think they got to do that until late, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. We'll talk about possible hit squads assassination. I think that they need a cover of a limited civil war, which really can't happen, and I'll talk about why that can't happen.
All they need is one false flag, and then and then go around and start killing people and be like, oh, hey, no, all these guys were bad guys. Just trust us. We know what we're talking about. You don't need to see the evidence. They were bad guys. We got rid of terrorists.
I'll say this. Well, I want to save it for a second, because Navarro's doing time now. Okay, and Peter Navarro, love him or hate him, he had every right to talk to Donald Trump about anything and everything in private. That's the attorney-client privilege. And on top of that, there's also a thing called executive privilege. Even if he's not acting as an attorney, everybody, just so everybody understands this, the president is allowed to have private conversations with staff and advisors, okay? They're putting him in jail because they were discussing what? Ways to possibly audit the election, send it back to the electors. Now, they never even pulled the trigger, and they've now sent him to jail and found him guilty, and they found Giuliani guilty already. Guys, there's literally 16 more people other than Trump that this might happen to, and then they have 30 other plus indictments on that. Now, when I talked to Chris Sky at the Red Pill Expo, it's probably been a little while since we took. Actually, that was at Las Vegas, so over at the Reawaken America tour. I know we haven't talked since then. I asked him, because he's Canadian, I kind of wanted to figure out what his perspective is, and he got a lot of things right about the pandemic. And I asked him, what happens when they put Trump in prison? Number one, he goes, Trump's not going. A lot of people just believe he's Teflon Don. He's not going. I go, humor me for a second. I go, let's just say that they end up finding him guilty of one of the non-crimes and putting him in prison. The natural response from him, from Joe Hoft of the Gateway Pundit, when I interviewed him, both of them, they start saying civil war, or the men in this country are going to stand up. So I started doing some numbers here, John. Imagine this. In the 18th...
sorry, when's the last time the men in this country stood up to do anything?
Thank you. That's one point. But I'm going to bring up another that's really important.
The men in this country have cucked themselves, and they only do what their wives and women tell them to do.
Yeah. Well, and there isn't any strong male organizations. And even a organization that was portraying themselves as strong or military, like the Proud Boys, that were ultimately peaceful. Look what they just did to them, sending them a message. So I just want to make this...
Well, they sent a message at Ruby Ridge also. They sent a message at Waco also.
I agree there as well, but that was forced in a different time. Whereas now,
I think this is all linked. I think the elites have been pushing something for the last 40, 50 years. They've had the same plan.
Well, I agree there too.
Adjustments, but it's always been the same Chinese-style oppression, lockdowns, controlling people.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, man, look what happened to the Bundys and the Bundy Ranch. There was lethal force that was used there as well. If you step out of bounds. My point being about this idea of a civil war, okay? In the 1860s, when the Civil War happened, John, we did it live on the show. What was the population of the United States?
Oh, man. 200 million? Like when?
Not even ballpark, Fitch. So in 1860... It was 1860 to 1865. We're talking about 30 million people, about 30
before the Industrial Boom. Okay.
Yeah. So now you're looking at 1/10 or less of the population that we currently have. That's a massive issue right there. Because first of all, only about 10% of the people got involved on the Civil War on either side. So let's get there. So now you've got about 3 million fighters. Okay. The other thing that's really interesting about the Civil War time is the government really is more like the people in that the military doesn't have anything the people can't get their hands on them. You know, they don't have tanks at this point. They've got cannons. The people can have cannons. They've got muskets. The people can have muskets.
Cannons, Gatling guns, muskets. They had,
plus
bows and arrows.
Travel is so different. You know, there's just so many things that are in a different. I mean, now look at the technology we have. Look at the number of people
I will say, though, I don't agree, though, that you can't fight a domestic war against our government. I do not believe that at all, because just watch the Tsarnaev brothers documentary from the Boston bombing. Mm-hmm. Look what two knobheads with no skill, no training did with info from the internet. They had homemade explosives and one, maybe two handguns, and they shut down a city by themselves for a whole week.
That's if you believe that story,
what would
though.
50 men? What would 50 men do who were trained and had a much better understanding of what they needed to accomplish?
All right, so let's get to that. First of all, I think the Tsarnaev brothers story, there's a lot more to that. There's drills going on. There's FBI informants. There's a lot of questions there. But let's say we had 50 guys that knew what they were doing, okay? The first time that one of these guys takes out a high-value target. Now, first of all, the media is going to push a civil war of you fighting your neighbor, right? A right-left thing, and hopefully they get what they want in that they have some small disputes where neighbors kill each other, or a local businessman is killed for his political beliefs, that type of thing. So they can declare a civil war, even if there isn't one, right? Now, if you actually had the
riots in 2020,
exactly.
That was it was. People were killed.
Sure, but I'm saying incidents like that they could maybe portray as a civil war. It would be far from a civil war compared to the population and the people that are actually participating, right? That gives the government carte blanche, like you said, to go around and just kill individuals and say they're the bad guys. So as soon as that happens, any kind of violence, let's say there even is a 50-person unit that, say, takes out a couple high-level senators or high-level business people or people in an administration, all of which I'm not encouraging, by the way. Point by point, people will be taken out as domestic terrorists in a time where deepfakes are real and you don't have a judicial system. So quite frankly, you are in such a shit position because all they have to do is roll up on you, peacefully take you anywhere, your family. Shit's going wild. All of a sudden, they got something queued up that you did, and everybody believes it. And then they can just assassinate your character. And then other people that they don't, they can just kill, and then they can have them live forever behind their cell in a deepfake, Geraldo Running Man style. I mean, we're in a weird place, John. and I hate to think of it that way, but boy, I'm crunching the numbers, and there's 30 million people in New York. You know, you know what I mean? That's one place. So but again, all right, so now the question goes to you, John. If they put Trump in prison, what happens next?
I plan to leave the country. Like my plans for, like, listen, there's not a lot you can do about the outside stuff. We are kind of powerless. My suggestion to people is to pull out. Remove yourself from the system. Mm-hmm. Buy land. Find a place where you can go out in the country, grow your own food, have your own water. Don't make money so you don't have to pay taxes. Starve them. If everybody stops working and nobody pays taxes, the government goes bankrupt. I think it's step away, step out. Like, nope, I'm not working a job anymore. I'm going out of the country. I'm going to fish for food. I'm going to hunt for food. I'm going to raise chickens. I'm going to live in a tent, whatever. Like, Go, what's his name? Kaczynski, not sending the bombs, but just live in a cabin. Seriously, like, without violent steps, I think that what you have to do is just remove yourself. And, you know, you need gold, you need silver, you need Bitcoin, you need something to hedge your monies and your funds, but you're going to have somewhere that you can keep them safe. I don't know. I think you might have to go and lay low. It's one of those things, man. Did you ever read Atlas Shrugged?
No, everybody's trying to get me to read it recently.
Maybe get an audio book or something, because it is a long read, but it's a good book. But like, a lot of the stuff that happens in there is eerily similar to the things that are going on around us. Well, what happens there is the big industrialists, the people who were making things and creating jobs and doing good stuff, they decided, we're just going to cut out. They shut their businesses down and they disappeared, and they found some land hidden from the rest of the world, and they started creating something there and kept it to themselves. I think that's what you need to do. You have to go somewhere else and isolate yourself away from the government so you don't need anything from them, so they can't touch you, and hide. I don't think you can vote our way out of this. I do not believe that we can fight our way out of this in a violent fashion.
No. Again, and that's not to say that we can't defend ourselves. I don't want to put the wrong people's in their heads that like, hey, you should just bow before the king and get your head lopped off. But at the same time, you got to be realistic about what can actually change the governmental system we have in place. And the governmental system we have in place right now is the most outward puppet ever. They're not even rolling him out at 9/11. They're literally sending him to Alaska, John. Have you seen that? So they want him the furthest possible that he can be from any type of a memorial. They don't want him in Virginia. They don't want him in New York City. They don't want him in Pennsylvania. They're putting him in Alaska on 9/11 to make sure that there's just no gaffes. It's almost beyond. Okay.
How sad was that, what he did to that Vietnam veteran?
Oh, my God. We're just walking away.
Stumbled and stumbled off. Like,
what
am I doing here?
Hey,
Where am I? Why are all these people standing around?
And that's a great example that the guy standing up there that looks like he's probably about a decade older than Biden. I didn't catch his age, but clearly way more mentally cognizant than Biden.
Yeah, the guy looked so sad. He was just like, went through all that for this guy.
He's like, this is my big moment.
I know.
It's my big moment. But listen. It's very hard for me to be sympathetic to anything Joe Biden because he was such a bad criminal and he's done such bad things.
These people are evil. I have no whatever. They have nothing but contempt for other people. They're evil.
Yeah, but bro, it's just so hard to even watch. It's like I don't want to laugh at it because it's such a weird, demented. Like, how do you laugh again? Like you just said, at a guy getting his Medal of Honor for service in the military in a conflict that was ultra shitty. And the guy putting it around him, he doesn't run anything, but he can't even be present for that moment. It's just like in Hawaii when he falls asleep at the press conference when they're sitting there talking about all these dead people. He doesn't. It's awful. It's awful for the country. It's awful for humanity to even believe that's it.
And it's all of these gross elitist people. It's gross because you mentioned Hawaii, Oprah, and The Rock. I am never watching another Rock movie again. These people are literally billionaires, and they didn't put up any money. They begged other poor people. They begged poor people. They begged me and you to put up money to raise $10 million that they pledged. Are you like to Oprah? $10 million to her is like me writing a check for $1,000. That's how much money she has. Are you kidding me? She can't do something. She owns 2,000 acres of land on Maui, which should be illegal in the first place. Why is she allowed to do that? Don't the people of Maui get a say in that? These people are disgusting, absolutely disgusting people. The Rock, Dwayne, he is exploiting MMA fighters by cutting a deal with the UFC and making more of those stupid, ugly shoes that the fighters get no part of. These people are disgusting and they hate you. Stop supporting these Hollywood disgusting people. It's so gross, man. They're gross.
You just brought up MMA, and we haven't talked about it, but there's been some movement on the case. Let's talk about that.
Monstrous movement. We have received our class certification. The judge, at least in one of the classes, we did not get the identity class, which is upsetting to me because I don't believe you can get the control they have on the identity stuff without the bout class stuff, right? So the identity stuff is the video game, the merchandising, the sponsors, the Reebok stuff, that stuff, the uniform stuff. They said no, that wasn't. We couldn't be certified as a class as that, which I don't understand. But he did certify us as a class in the bout class. The bout class has to do with our contracts and how that end, the fighting end of the business works. And the judge was very very forward with it sounded like when you read what he's writing, it sounds like he's made up his mind. He knows what they're doing is corrupt and wrong. He called their contracts anti-competitive and coercive. So anybody who's an idiot who's like, well, you signed the contract, double birds, they're illegal contracts, null and void. Suck it.
Well, I think this is a big step forward. It actually not only shows some
Huge.
movement in the case.
Also, the judge also said that this case may require injunctive relief, which means the judge may step in and make changes to their business model, which will affect the entire industry. One of the things he could do is he could say, well, promoters are only allowed to hold contracts for 1 year.
That would be huge.
He could also say there has to be an independent sanctioning body controlling all titles. Either one is enormous.
It's funny, like on that announcement, I just saw that Fedor Emelianenko is going to be in the new UFC 5 game. So they've, after all these years, guys, they still don't have him in the UFC gloves. They've actually got the Pride gloves on him because they bought Pride out. But you're going to finally see him in the octagon if you buy EA Sports' UFC 5. They couldn't make it happen when it was supposed to, but it's happening now. Because I brought up Fedor, and obviously he ended his career in Bellator, finally this PFL-Bellator merger is being thrown into the public arena, and they're talking about Saudi investments. What do you think about all of it?
Man, I think it's great that Dana's such a dumbass that he's bad-mouthing these other organizations, saying that they don't matter and they're so small and whatever. Like, he's building our case. He's speaking for us. Like, we're just going to record that and play it back in court. Like, you yourself said these people aren't competitors. Mm-hmm. Dumbass. Our entire case is made up of snippets and clips from things they've said. It's crazy. These people are so stupid.
I mean, it's not crazy. They're just arrogant.
They're arrogant. Yeah, arrogant and evil, man. I think evil people get really arrogant.
When you got the ring, man, when you got the power, you say and do some things.
Ring of power.
That's right. In fact, here's a little Ring of Power story. And by the way, I don't know how true this is because I'm telling you right now, I feel like the Muskernuts is a front man. But there's just so many things about this story that are just crazy wrong that you got to at least cover it. Elon Musk secretly ordered Starlink engineers to turn off satellite communications network near Crimean coast last year to disrupt Ukrainian sneak attack on Russian naval fleet, new biography claims. Now, I don't believe this, just to let everybody know. But there's just, let's say that's true. We don't need billionaires turning off private networks during warfare. But that's why you don't need billionaires with private networks causing communications during warfare. And the bottom line is, do you think that the U.S. military-industrial complex would ever allow him to privately shut off the Starlink in the middle of... I mean, we're in war, folks. Like, that would be a war crime. But we're talking about Elon Musk is going to sue the ADL. While you're talking about them suing the ADL, his Starlink communications network being shut on and off is costing tens of thousands of lives every single month. Like, Fitch, what do you think of that? Do you think it could be possible that the Muskernuts is shutting off communications without the military's knowledge?
Yes, I do. I don't think his cars are profitable. I think he gets money from the government to prop up what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't think there are no solutions. There are only trade-offs. Electric cars are not better than regular cars. They're just different. They use fossil fuels in a different way. They have different problems. There's still a lot of slavery involved in getting the minerals in order to make the batteries for those vehicles. The government is very hard on pushing this clean energy bullcrap. It's not clean energy. It's just different. It's just a different type of dirty energy. It's ridiculous. So I think his whole gimmick of making money through the cars is a facade. I think it's a government plant doing that crap.
Well, it's not just the cars. Tesla is also what? Making the humanoid robots. What else did it do?
Making the robots also, yeah.
Yeah, and what else did it do? It teamed up with CureVac, and it made the shoobity shoobs. What else does it do? It's building tiny homes that are sustainable. I mean, it's literally going down the line. And I didn't get to talk about it with you because you were talking about robot dogs patrolling us, and I brought this up. So yes, facial recognition equipped robot dogs to prowl U.S. sporting venue in Atlanta, Georgia. So Mercedes-Benz Stadium, you'll have dogs roaming around now with your biometrics on file because they got to keep you safe from terrorism.
There's got to be. Come on, there's got to be some smart guys out there who know how to make things that can disrupt those things, sensors.
Oh yeah, well,
there's got to be like materials or lights or something that you can do that just shut the thing down and make you invisible to them. There's got to be stuff.
Well, not
come on,
necessarily.
Come on, nerds, let's go for America.
Not necessarily completely invisible, but I have seen people put on obviously neckerchiefs around their mouth, right? And even they have a printed face on them. Remember those?
Well, I saw a guy who had glasses that had some type of UV light or something that flashed. Mm-hmm. So if you looked up at the security cameras, it would just be a blur over your face because the light would blind the camera.
That is definitely one way. Another, I mean, just having a dark complexion. The darker your complexion is, the harder it is.
That's why they're trying to make blackface so bad.
I'm just telling you that's the truth. They've had problems with facial recognition with people with darker skin tones because you don't have the depth of perception that facial recognition uses light to basically map you out. So it makes more mistakes. You know, that's one of the things these people that complain about it say it's inequitable because people of color are more likely to be misidentified because, again, it's harder to map their face. You know, I think the solution is the same solution that happened in New York City with the things. Just say no. Just constantly complain. Everybody that goes to that stadium, what the fuck is this thing doing here? Let's
fucking thing out of here right now. Do you hear me? We want this fucking thing gone.
That's you guys. You just gotta be like that. You gotta pull it off like you can't be. There's nothing else there. You know, you can't allow it.
You sounded like the voice in Weird Science when they put the thing in the guy's tooth and they talk to him. This is God.
You want to talk to Elon Musk real quick? Let's see what Musk has to say about it.
So, you know, I love brain shits, and I would like to put one in you, your family, your dog, Grimes, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, Hunter Biden, and all the Trump family.
What about his body double?
Them too. So I've got this new, basically the software.
Unbelievable, dude. That's so crazy. That technology is that easy and that available to anybody.
And just claim it's like, oh, anybody, you could do all kinds of witness work. Yeah, no, now I'm the rock star. And clearly, Larry Sinclair has been telling the truth about Bathhouse Barry.
So I've got Barack Obama.
You could call you seriously, like you have a competitor, right? Say you have a competitor in a class or for a job. You call in the boss's voice and tell him to do the wrong project or not to show up to work or go to the wrong job site.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
they did it on 60 Minutes. Did we not play that with you?
There's no regulation on this whatsoever. Oh my God.
Did we not play that here with you? Did I not play the 60 Minutes piece?
I don't think I saw
Let me see if I can find it really quick.
That's insanity, dude. That's insanity.
Well, let's see if we can find that. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
See somebody. I'm at the talk to you in person and be able to touch you before I believe anything that you say.
Yeah, no, this is, and John, this is why I continually bring up, you know, in a time of like a civil war, the new deepfake stuff is a real tool. So here it is right here, Fitch. We're going to play it. The very scenario that you just talked about, play it out in real time.
If you don't know how a criminal thinks, then you really don't know how you can protect yourself online.
Rachel Toback is what's called an ethical hacker. She studies how these criminals operate.
So ethical hackers, we step in and show you how it works.
Toback is the CEO of Social Proof Security, a data protection firm that advises Fortune 500 companies, the military, and private citizens on their vulnerabilities. We hired her to show us how easy it is to use information found online to scam someone. We asked her to target our unsuspecting colleague, Elizabeth. Toback found Elizabeth's cell phone number on a business networking website. As we set up for an interview, Toback called Elizabeth, but used an AI-powered app to mimic my voice and ask for my passport number.
Oh, yes, I do have it. Okay, ready? It's...
Toback played the AI-generated voice recording for us to reveal the scam.
So in other words, in real time, she had her boss's voice, called her employee, and got her passport. Watch.
I need my passport number because the Ukraine trip is on. Can you read that out to me?
Does that sound familiar?
Yes. And I gave her... Wow.
I was duped.
I'm sitting over there.
What did it say on your phone?
Unreal.
Sharon.
How did you do that?
So I used something called a spoofing tool to actually be able to call you as Sharon.
Oh, so I was hacked, and I failed hacking.
But everybody would get tricked with that.
Yeah.
Everybody would. It says Sharon. Why would I not answer this call? Why would I not give that information?
Toback showed us how she took clips of me from television and put it into an app that cloned my voice. It took about 5 minutes.
I am a public person. My voice is out there. Could a person who's not a public person like me be spoofed as easily?
Anybody can be spoofed. And oftentimes attackers will go after people. They don't even know who these people are, but they just know this person has a relationship to this other person. And they can impersonate that person enough just by changing the pitch and the modulation of their voice that I believe that's my nephew and I need to really wire that money.
So there you go, Fitch. It's already happening. We're trying to have fun with it here because, you know, the thing is that this technology is going to be utilized. And I'm going to try to have fun with it. But for those that didn't know,
Welcome to the party, pal.
That's insane.
yeah, we're going to be having fun on the show. In fact, Fitch, I can become a dainty, lovely young lady.
I mean, I want to be Fitch pilled right now. I want to be Fitch pilled. And I want a mojito. I want a mojito. I want a spritzer. I want to be Fitch pilled.
Man, so I'm going to create an AI chick and open an OnlyFans.
I'll tell you what, with this voice
I
mod,
need some money.
they got like 20. So it's really interesting.
They're all, you know what? It is. It's the OnlyFans is going to be decimated. It's going to be all AI.
Well, it's already happening. There's already this, I talked about it, but it's called Replica, where people are actually already paying a fee for an AI girlfriend that's not real to text and conversate with them online.
I've seen that a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, they're making it better and better. They're trying to make it like her. We're in wacky times, Fitch. Wacky times indeed. Let's talk a little UFC. The card's actually
move away from cities. Grow your own food. Like, I'm working on my ex, and she kind of is open. If I can create a solid plan, I might be able to move my kids to the Midwest for high school. But I got to get a solid plan.
Dude, do it. Listen, you're a smart guy.
Yeah.
You know it. Now's the time. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. Now is the time where, look, I've said it to people now. They're trying to bring everything back. If they're trying to bring restrictions back in your workplace, in your school, in your kids, it's time to leave.
They got masks in DC schools already.
Yeah. It's
already started.
You got to say
they're talking about it. The little blurps about it. About there was a COVID sickness. I don't care. I don't need to hear about your stupid cold. CDC said 99%.
We're on YouTube. Damn it! Stop, man. Jesus Christ! No, I totally disagree. What John just said.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Yes, we should always believe the CDC. Anthony Fauci is my Jesus Christmas. John doesn't know what he's talking about. All I'm saying is if they impose those restrictions, leave your job.
Safe and effective.
Safe and effective. This card this weekend, decent card. It could be better, but I am kind of interested in the Volkov Tiavasa fight. I think Strickland's going to get tuned up by Adesanya.
Yeah, I don't see any way on paper that Strickland beats Adesanya, but I kind of want him to.
I want him to too.
and you never know. You never know. It is MMA, and sometimes when everybody's like, this guy's got no shot. What's the point of this fight? The guy pulls it off. Look, I think it wouldn't be a bad bet to bet on the long shot.
It's plus 440, so it's a decent look. I didn't think O'Malley was going to be able to beat Aljamain because Aljamain had looked so dominant sometimes, especially on the ground. And, O'Malley didn't have that ground game. O'Malley caught him, got him.
Yeah, but he rushed in, got caught. No, sorry.
And, O'Malley did a good job in the first round, thwarting his wrestling, making him think a little bit, setting up that shot. So, again, you do never, ever know.
And Adesanya may be so preoccupied with his TikTok dances that he's not prepared.
The old TikTok dancing.
Oh, yeah. That's the most ridiculous. That's I guess I can't even say how awful that was. But he says, I'm going to knock you out and do a TikTok dance over you. I'm just...
We're in a bad place.
You ever seen that meme where it's like the Mexican kid doing a TikTok dance and his older Mexican dad's like in the window looking at him like,
no,
I'm that dad.
You should be that dad.
What disgust. What are you doing?
Dude, the social media thing is out of control. It continues to be. And by the way, I have not seen any new movement or traction on Twitter. I haven't seen any kind of difference there than anywhere else. In fact, one of my moderators got banned from Twitter again. Mad Doom Villain got banned again from Twitter. What could he have possibly posted on the free speech platform that's not free speech? And look, I saw Jones today defending Elon Musk again after Jones did one of his best shows in years yesterday. Yesterday, Jones did one of the best shows he's done in a long time. He did a lot of clips with this guy, Giordano, from Georgetown University, talking about all sorts of human brain interfaces, bio-nanotech, mind control, you name it. One of Alex's best breakdowns. And then today, he's like, no, Musk is fighting him. He's fighting the ADL. He's for real. I don't buy it, guys. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. Fitch, why don't you tell everyone?
Controlled opposition.
I think he's even worse. I think he's more than controlled opposition. I think they're setting him up as a savior for politics later on and to lead people way more astray than just controlled opposition because he's not opposition at all.
Is he the Antichrist?
I've heard that suggestion, but in order for me to say that, I'd have to actually believe there is an Antichrist, John. I'm not sure I'm there yet. So, I can't necessarily agree. Fitch, tell the folks what you got going on, brother.
Go to johnfish.net, sign up for newsletter. I am currently having a sale, 30% off. I have a new program up. It's wrestling for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Right? I don't know why my Twitter or my Instagram doesn't upload on that. Re-upload. I need to fix that. But I've got a new program available. You need some help with your wrestling aspect of your jiu-jitsu game. We got a nice little program for you there. Check that out. And then all my other programs are available or on there too, so they're good. It's nice stuff. Had a nice consultation with the guy yesterday. Going to help him get in shape virtually, so should be good.
And you guys know my drill. Monday through Thursday, 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern, we do the RVM thing. Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, I do the MSOM thing. Guys, I recorded 2 shows yesterday, and the guys that were recording, a power outage happened, so one of my shows got nixed. Tonight's show with Dylan Avery was extremely emotional as we went back pretty much almost 20 years now when we first got together and talked about loose change and the 9/11 truth movement. We both almost cried because we're big girly men. And tomorrow, I've got Nick Bryan on the program. So if you don't know about the Franklin scandal, you don't know about Epstein at length, this is the guy that got the Epstein Black Book published. That's another great show. And I've just had killer guests on there. Joe Allen, the author of Dark Eon.
Still not one client of Maxwell or Epstein has seen the inside of a courtroom.
I'll say this, Vivek said he's going to release the client list that I don't believe is even there. But come on.
I'm sure they destroyed everything it could a long time ago.
Well, I think they probably still have it in case on people, but they'll never bring it out as his. Like it would leak another way, right? It wouldn't be like an Epstein video. It'd just be some dude on an island with a kid that they needed to burn at some point. That's the whole point of blackmail. It's the dark cartoon, Fitch, and we got to do this more than once a month. We should be doing it at least every couple weeks. I know that I've been out. I know that you've got things going on.
Yeah, well, summer's over, and that was kind of busy.
Yeah. Well, again, we had to do this one even early because you got a class coming up in about an hour or so. I do appreciate.
Oh, I got a coaches meeting.
Oh,
I'm coaching flag football at the kids' school. So
yes. I love that.
Fathers are stepping up and doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Dude.
My girlfriend bought me a bunch of coaches' clothes. She bought me like some nice $10 like stretchy pants. And
how many whistles did you get?
I got 2. 2 whistles and a clipboard.
Yes. Awesome, Fitch. All right, Fitch. A pleasure as always. We will be in touch, my friend. We'll see you guys later.
Check you later, guys.